Hey everyone, welcome to Simble Things, a channel where I talk about living with C-PTSD and everything that goes along with that. So today's video, this is a bit of a difficult one. I've been putting this off for a long time. And you know what? I thought I was putting it off because this might be the type of subject where I have to get loads of studies and list them all and all that kind of thing. But then I realized I don't need to do that. And then I realized I still wasn't sure about doing this video, and I started wondering why that might be, and I know why. It's because a lot of people don't want to hear this. I mean, a long time ago I didn't want to hear it, but things change. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the fact that nicotine and caffeine are two of the worst things you can be ingesting if you have C-PTSD, any kind of anxiety. It's not going to help your depression either. If you have any kind of mental health issues, just don't. Nicotine and caffeine are the worst. And I know nicotine has other issues if you actually smoke cigarettes, but let's just pretend that those health issues aren't being included, and I'm just including, say you get your nicotine from patches or gum or anything like that. Even that, any form of nicotine, any form of caffeine, whether that's your cup of coffee, whether that's energy drinks, any of that stuff, it's all got caffeine in it, right? Caffeine, nicotine, no. Seriously, no. Now, usually in a video like this, I'm gonna list about this study that says something, and this study that says something, and this study that says something. But do you know what? There's loads of them. There are loads. I'll just flash some just up here. Just flash them up because I know there are quite a few. And the thing is, the thing that changes our minds to these things isn't being shown evidence. Because the reason we're consuming these drugs, and let's hang on for a second, caffeine and nicotine are definitely drugs. If you don't know what the definition of a drug is, it's anything you ingest, anything you put into your body that isn't for nutrition purposes. So yeah, that includes sugar, but we're not talking about that today. Nicotine and caffeine are drugs, and they're very powerful ones. They absolutely have a very, very powerful physical addiction. They have very powerful effects on your mental health. They have very powerful effects on the way, on your decision making and stuff, because when somebody even badmouths coffee a bit, people get outraged. Do you know why? Because it's a physical addiction and nobody wants to be told their physical addiction is bad for them. And I know you might be able to counteract my arguments by saying, oh, but there's these studies that say caffeine's good for you, and these, physically, just physically for your body, if you have no mental health issues, no digestion issues, I think caffeine can be okay for you. I think it can be okay. But if you've got any mental health issues, and if you've got C-PTSD, you probably have some kind of digestive issues too. You need to stop ingesting nicotine and caffeine. If you have mental health issues and you have any kind of digestive issues, get those substances out of your life. They're not helping. And yes, I know it's difficult. And you read things like blogs about people that said, oh, getting off caffeine is supposed to be healthy. I'm gonna try do that. Nearly everyone I read, it's just after 2-3 days, they just go, oh, I wasn't feeling better after 2-3 days, so I went back to it. And it's you've got a physical addiction, something that you've been feeding for most of the time for years, and you think your body is going to get rid of that addiction in 2-3 days? No, it's not. It's going to take longer. And then the other thing is, you've got to realize that it's not just about the physical addiction, but it's about the mental addiction as well. So like those things are really difficult to break. Nicotine is one of the most addictive things in the world. Caffeine is seriously addictive too. Oh, also, side note, if you have any digestive issues, decaffeinated coffee probably isn't going to be any better for them. So, like, I actually really like the taste of coffee and the smell of it and everything. I like can make a pretty good cup of coffee, but it's really not good for me. Like, as I said, the mental health issues of drinking coffee, like the caffeine, just really not good. But then the physical effects, and so I I tried decaffeinated coffee because I was like, I do still like the taste of coffee and whatever, but no, like physically that's just a no too. Which is kind of sad, but meh, like it's not that big a deal. During lockdown and whatever, there's people going less to all the different like kind of chain coffee shops or even like your local independent one. Like people aren't going as much, they're either shut or you don't want to go outside or anything like that. Now's a pretty good time to try and tackle that addiction, maybe. And like the thing is, obviously it's hard. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that breaking physical addictions to substances like nicotine and caffeine are easy. They're not. But the thing is, you can do it. It's just hard. But the thing is, you do hard things all the time. But like a hard thing, if you want to do it, isn't so hard really. And an easy thing, if you don't want to do it, not so easy, right? So, I don't know. Like, the thing is, you need to actually be super committed to it. And you need to actually care. So I think that's another thing that comes down, like people just go, oh, I know the caffeine's not good for me, but I don't care. But, I mean, if you don't care for yourself, who else is gonna? Honestly, like, you need to care. You need to do the things that are better for your body, even though they can be rubbish a lot of the time. I mean, it's extra hard, isn't it? When you've got C-PTSD, we've got so many bad habits and bad connections to things like food and just life in general. Like, there's so many difficult connections we can have to things. So breaking like addictions isn't even just breaking the physical addiction sometimes, but it's breaking some of the mental connections we have to things. And it's like changing some of the rituals, like even just the ritual of getting up in the morning and drinking coffee. Like, habits are hard to break, but they are how you grow as well. It's how you make those changes to make yourself the better and on the path to like wellness. It takes a lot of effort to heal yourself of anything physically or mentally, and when you have a condition like C-PTSD, it's like you're healing lots of physical issues and lots of mental issues, and it's all piled up on top of each other, and it's just like it's a literal nightmare, right? For any of you out there that have night terrors too, yep, same here. It's a nightmare tackling all these things, but you just have to do them bit by bit. And one of the ways, like one thing that can make other things easier, like, is getting rid of drugs like nicotine and caffeine, because they are making all your negative thoughts way worse. They're making the occurrence of those negative thoughts way more frequent. Nicotine and caffeine will fully stop you from healing your mind. They are roadblocks on like your journey. They are definite roadblocks on your journey to, you know, a better you. So you need to think about that. And, you know, obviously people just go watch this video and do whatever they're going to do, but hopefully there's some people that this might help them think about it a bit more and think about whether it's actually worth them doing it. And there's another type of people as well that I forgot about. There's some people that will hear this and they will think, well, I only drink about 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day, so it's not a big deal for me, right? No, wrong. No, like, the addiction is the addiction. Even a small amount is feeding the addiction, is changing the way your brain works. So please think about it, roll it around. And I know there's probably a lot of people going to hate the fact that I'm telling you not to have caffeine or nicotine. Like, they're the worst. It's really annoying because they can be quite enjoyable and there's things connected to them that can be quite enjoyable, but they're the worst. Don't get it twisted, don't get it wrong. They're the worst. Sort it out, get them out of your life. You'll be way glad that you did. And you can tell me I'm being preachy or I'm wrong or I'm this or I'm that, and it doesn't matter. Because the thing is, most of the people that are going to be criticizing what I'm saying haven't lived adult lives free of nicotine and caffeine. Like, sure, you can say it's not that bad for you or it's not affecting you adversely, but until you've given it up, how do you actually know? Until you've had like a month or two completely free of nicotine and caffeine, like, what do you actually know about how you feel on those two substances? How do you know what effect it really has on your mind? You don't. Like, you fully don't. So just going to say thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that kind of things. You know, really appreciate if you share the videos with anybody you think it might help. That'd be really cool. And I hope you're all well, staying safe and all that. And until next time, peace.